Tide, all this gets flooded right up into here, so it's actually quite deep out in the middle of the channel, more than deep enough to paddle an open top canoe and to fish. So the trail I'm taking goes all the way around the edge here by those trees out to that bridge. So one of the curious things about this path, which is a bit unfortunate, is that it runs right up against the industrial area here. Just rising up above the estuary onto the old bridge road. So this road I'm on now is the old road that used to cross the river at the base of the estuary, and you can see in the background there where those cars are. That's the new road now that goes between Hastings and Napier and out to the Northern Highway. So the trail now goes down to the end of that bridge, the bridge I'm going to walk on, and then it goes under the new highway and out along the main overflow fall, which drains all the rainwater and everything off the hills behind Napier. So that's the Napier Hill. It used to be an island before the Napier earthquake, when all this was actually inland sea here. That was known as Mataroho Island, and then when Europeans came here they named it Sind Island after the Battle of Sind in India. On the other side of that hill is Napier City, built now on what was the old seabed. And so this is the Ahuriri Estuary from the far end. So heading down now under the bridge, under the old bridge, to go under the new bridge, to head back towards the main outfall. That's not a sewage outfall, by the way. Blocking the wind sufficiently. So this is one of the things that I was most curious to see about down here, and that is when the tide is out, because this whole estuary is obviously tidal, and so is this river here, which is called the main fall. It takes all the water off the back hills here and dumps it into here. And I was curious to know whether this actually at low tide dried out, or whether you could still get a canoe up here. And it's quite obvious over the other side here, it's definitely deep enough to get a canoe in, which is exactly what I wanted to see, because it means that I can come down from my house, because I live up on the hill over there, put a canoe in where I started off the hike today, under the bridges, and right up here into the foothills. That sound, if you can hear it, the airport is actually behind me there. So there's a plane taken off. All this land here has recently been reclaimed by whoever's looking after this estuary, and they're like trying to work it to bring it back to the wetlands that it used to be. Wildlife and the flora. That is what the Aussies call a gum tree, mate, or a eucalyptus tree. It's like the iconic tree of Australia, and we have them all over the place here. They largely were brought in here, I think, and were grown because they grow very fast here, so they're really good for cover. And I think at one stage they were seriously considering them for the pulp and paper industry. Just earlier I mentioned about the big earthquake here in Napier in 1931, I think it was 31 or 32. Back then all this land was inland sea, and so it was and it was all trapped by a spit that basically cut it off from the sea way out over there from the far end of the hill all the way along. This was all huge fishing grounds here for the local Maori tribes before the Europeans came here, and it was easy fishing because you could basically wade in there barefoot without a canoe or anything like that, although they probably did fish here with canoes. And there would have been lots of shellfish, most of which are all gone now because of pollution, and tons of freshwater and saltwater species of fish in here. So they probably subsisted off this as their fishing grounds for a long time. It was also kind of a sacred area because all around the hill here, which I hope you can see in the background, which was the old Mataroa Hill Island before the earthquake, there were a lot of burial sites here. And also for a long time an old Tonga or Maori like holy man used to live up on the island there, which kept pretty much everybody off the island. So then the earthquake came in, all this rose up about a metre, which is an enormous amount, and so lots of the water here just got drained back out to the ocean, and lots of land here was reclaimed. And one of the interesting things about all that, which I didn't find out until relatively recently, was these hills in the background here are a settlement called Pariety. Lots of wealthy people live out there. And just over the other side of those hills is a river called the Ahuriri River, which, if you've watched my other videos, you will have seen me camping and hiking up the Ahuriri. And before the Napier earthquake, the Ahuriri River used to come around those hills and down into here and flow into the estuary. But because the land here rose so much during the earthquake, it changed the course of the Ahuriri River, which now flows out south of here into the bay. So that was a major change to the landscape around here. So yeah, for anybody who's watched the movies that I've made here, the video footage of me camping and hiking on the Ahuriri River. It actually comes in way out, like the camping I did was way back, and it comes down in behind those hills and flows out here to the bay. The sea is just out beyond the Napier Hill here, which I prefer to still call Ahuriri Island. After having a bit of a poke around, it looks like, even though there's no sign on this gate here saying don't walk down the stop bank there, it just says don't take dogs down there because it's a working farm. I have a feeling that they probably don't want people going down there. But on the other side of the river, there's another walkway like the one that I used to get here on this side of the river, and I think it goes all the way down to the end of the outfall, which is really where I want to go and have a look, because I want to see how deep this water is during low tide all the way back up towards the hills there, because I suspect that it's just as deep as it is here probably. The fall off for the land is not very steep, which means I could get a canoe right back up into the hills there. Sweet. Assuming that because the flow's going that way means the tide's coming back in. And of course I'm 1.95 meters, so I had to
I have made mistakes. I have made mistakes. I continue to make them. And the promises I've made, the promises I've made, I continue to break them. And all the doubts I've faced, all the doubts I've faced, I continue to face them. But nothing is a waste. Nothing is a waste if you learn from it. And the sun, it does not cause us, the sun, it does not cause us to grow. It is the rain that will strengthen, the rain that will strengthen your soul. It will make you whole. We have lived in fear. We have lived in fear, and our fear has betrayed us. We will overcome. We will overcome the apathy that has made us. 'Cause we are not alone. We are not alone in the dark with our demons. We have made mistakes. We have made mistakes, but we've learned from them. And the sun, it does not cause us, the sun, it does not cause us to grow. It is the rain that will strengthen, the rain that will strengthen your soul. It will make